What's up, DV fans? How are you doing today? Today we got another video for y'all, the top 5 favorite metal bands. So, a lot of you have been asking me, yo, what's your favorite metal bands and stuff like that, and I don't really get too deep into detail about it, so you wouldn't know. Here's the answers. Let's get it. So, most of these bands have influenced me a lot over the years. They represent a lot of my lifestyle choices, currently, and just inspiration, I guess. So, coming in at number 5 is a dark electro band that a lot of you may or may not have heard of, but if you listen to a lot of aggro tech, then you've come across this band a few times, Alien Vampires. Now, reason why Alien Vampires is one of my favorite bands, or at least in my top 5, is, well, for the obvious fact they inspired the party lifestyle. If you know me personally, you know I do a lot of wild and extreme stuff, and there's not too many bands that can defy those odds of extremity, no holds bars, and just pretty much not giving a fuck, right? So, Alien Vampires is definitely one of those bands that have always pushed the boundaries, kept dark electro alive pretty much, and they keep making good shock value and good hits today. So definitely one of my favorite bands. And they really inspired a lot about me, like over these past few years. Not just the party lifestyle, but the aesthetics. Like I've always been into piercings and all that stuff, and like freaky nature, and all of this like masochist and sadist type lifestyle, and they uh they pretty much inspired most of that over these past few years. So, Alien Vampires, check them out. I recommend Harsh Drugs, BDSM, Fuck Off and Die, Evil Execution, all of those good tracks, albums. So, yeah, that's number 5. Number 4 is another obvious one because I have it tattooed on my stomach. Marduk. Uh, Marduk is a Swedish black metal band that has definitely been very controversial in many ways due to their lyrical theme and Satanism, and they had to deal with a lot of Antifa over the years. And regardless of what you think, some people consider Marduk a Nazi band, others don't. I mean, I don't, but I consider their music to be very well polished. It's astonishing in many ways, and you know, even though they kept majority of their career the same lyrical theme, they definitely inspired a lot about me, and that's why I got the tattoo, because I'm a diehard fan, and it wasn't really the band per se that made me get the tattoo. It was Legion, the ex vocalist, and his stage presence. It was just so badass over the years. I feel like he carried the band until they eventually kicked his ass out. So yeah, it kind of pissed me off a little bit, but I'm a diehard Marduk fan, and I'm a diehard Legion fan, and we have this in common. I didn't know until I actually got the tattoo. I was like, we got that in common. So it was just kind of like it was bound to happen for me to get these tattoos for some reason. So definitely a very extreme, controversial band, but worth the listen. Number 3. Now, a lot of you probably wouldn't expect this band to be at number 3, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Um, Number 3 would be Demu. Now, a lot of you have probably thought that was my favorite band of all time. Demu is a great band. No matter what people say or think about them, they're always going to be a great band. And they are essentially what got me into symphonic black metal and opened up all these other gateways to extreme metal genres and things of that nature. So definitely Demu is at number 3, and despite what kind of albums they're putting out currently and stuff, they got me this far. and they got me through my high school years pretty much. So D-Mew is definitely a band that I can't leave out no matter what. And just because they're not my all-time favorite doesn't mean they won't ever be the band that inspired me to do a lot. And they're actually one of the first bands that I did a cover song to. So D-Muse definitely had a lot of influence on the Demon these past few years, if you know what I mean. So never count those guys out. Number two would be Greek black metal legends, fucking Rotting Christ. And yes, Rotting Christ has also been one of those bands that have stayed true to themselves over these past few years. A lot of people don't know they originally started out back in '87, and they've been around for so long. And every album they ever made to start until now, and I don't think they'll ever stop until they can't play anymore, but every album they made has been fucking phenomenal. They haven't made an album that has been disappointing, and their style, it never gets stale. It stays the same over the years. It always stays interesting. It always stays fresh. And any era of Rotting Christ is an era that you have to check out. Whether it's early 2000s, the beginning, late 2000s, whatever. Great band. That being said, I like majority of their weird elements because they're very experimental, and like I say, I'm really into learning like different languages, and I know German and stuff like that, but they kind of inspired me to learn a little bit of Greek as well, man. I want to see the Acropolis and go to all these places and just really see, because Greece has a really, really rich and really hearty like metal history that people don't know about. It's not a lot of Greek bands, but the ones that are out there, they give it they all, and Rotting Christ is definitely give it they all, and that's why they're my number two favorite band. Oh, you still here? Well, now we get to the end. Number one, my favorite band, probably favorite metal band of all time, I guess. It would have to be the fucking 69 Eyes. Yes, the 69 Eyes. And a lot of you probably wouldn't expect that. You look at me like Demon, but you aren't you extreme metal head? Like you like all of these extreme metal bands, and I'm like, well, yeah, that doesn't change the fact that I like other genres and other things. You know, it's not just extreme metal all day. It can be alternative. It can be goth, whatever. But initially, what even got the channel started or the music was goth stuff. If you go back and venture back to the early days, you know that I did more gothic, more you know, more. It was kind of more melancholic stuff, right? And a lot of people say my image or my lifestyle is based on more 90s goth, and I would agree with that, more 90s, but I've always been in a gothic music. Before the real extreme metal came, it was goth, it was alternative, and I still embrace that lifestyle to this day. And the same thing with Rotting Christ, the 69 Eyes have stayed true to themselves 30 plus years, and they started off as glam metal band. In later years, they switched it around and then they turned gothic metal. So they definitely have like a really weird wavelength, but they started off as glam goth, and now they just keep making hits to this day. And the thing is, they don't make bad records. Like, it doesn't matter what era of 69 Eyes you were part of or alive for. They all tell a story. You know, the aesthetic, the music, they're like one of the last true goth bands that still play today, besides, probably The Cure and other few bands, The Cold, and like it's a lot of good goth bands out there still, but they're all over the place. But the 69 Nines, what makes that band so special is they had the same members from the beginning of their career until now. And the only other band I can think of that's done that is Rammstein. So that's pretty interesting. They had the same members for this long. But, Finland, they always produce good music, good bands. And a band like that has definitely had influence on me. Of course, I covered a few songs by those guys. And, it's just been a fun ride, every day I have to have a little bit of 69 Eyes, man. They inspired the future and they inspired the past, the goth, and they just keeping it alive for me. Die hard believers, and if I ever get to see them live, oh, you best believe I'll post it. But those are my top five bands. They had a lot of influence on the demon here. And they have, partially made me the person I am today. A lot of things have had influence on me. Like, yeah, you gotta take inspiration from somewhere. But just know your idols, respect them, and hopefully you get to meet them someday. Because we all gotta start somewhere, and this is where I started. And they all got me here today. So, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next video. But like I always say, stay metal, stay true to yourself, rate the like button, and comment all types of weird shit. I don't care. But I have things to do, so I will see you all later. Yeah.